What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another episode of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tony Mango, and joining me, as always, are Callum Wiggins.
Brace yourselves.
And Robert D. Felice.
We have arrived.
What we're doing here today is another Fannounce Table edition of the show, and we'll explain what that means in a moment. But, yeah, I want to start things off just with a thank you, because this is a Patreon-sponsored episode as part of the Pick Your Poison tier up on the Patreon. Guest 5, who has been donating the past couple of months, and he's been requesting some different things as part of that whole feature, because that's kind of the point. Pick your poison. You pick something that you want us to do, and then we do it. He had suggested that we do a Fannounce Table of NXT ArRIVAL, and this is going to be the first ever pay-per-view, like full pay-per-view commentary track that we're doing. So this will be kind of interesting. But I have done things in the past that, you know, if you've checked out Fanboys Anonymous, you've seen that we've done full movies and everything like that. So it's not like this is brand new, like, oh my God, this is the first time that we're building a ring and wrestling in it or something like that. It's not that kind of a thing. But if you don't know what those are, and this is new to you as far as what the whole Fannounce Table thing is, and you don't know what Fan Tracks is on Fanboys, you might not even know what Fanboys is, but this basically is as follows. What we do is we watch whatever it is, in this case NXT ArRIVAL, the pay-per-view, and we're going to be starting that from the very beginning on the WWE Network, and then you guys can kind of sync up your audio and listen to this podcast, and it'll be as if we were providing like a DVD commentary track, essentially, of what they do with like movies and stuff. So obviously we can't provide you the material on YouTube because that would just be a copyright infringement, so you're going to have to do that thing separately and all that, but that's why we're going to give a countdown of 3, 2, 1, play, and when I say play, then you hit the play button, and then you'll be synced up correctly, because instead of it being the type of thing that we've done in the past with, like, well, we're going to do the Royal Rumble match, and you have to start your code at, you know, the 2 hours and 34 minutes and 8 seconds or something like that, we're starting from the very beginning here. So we're just on the WWE Network. Who knows if that's going to be around in a month. And we're starting NXT ArRIVAL, which you can find if you just search for ArRIVAL on the network. It's all the way at the bottom of the list under the specials. And it's the one that is from February 27th, 2014. It's got Neville against Bo Dallas and some other matches that, of course, we'll get into later on. And we're going to start at 000000. It's not the skip intro thing, so we're going to have that little then, now, forever. And yeah, that's basically all you need to know. The rest of it we'll get into when we start getting into this. So, as I mentioned before, it will be a 3, 2, 1 play. Hit the play button when I say play. Get everything situated, get all that stuff ready to go, because we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, play. Right now, you should see the fireworks, and you should be synced up. There's Andre, there's Triple H, Rock, etc. So, before we get into everything, I want to remind everybody to leave their comments below and to tell us your thoughts on this event and your thoughts on our commentary track. If you are listening to the Spotify feed or Stitcher, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, whatever podcasts, you can't leave comments, but on the YouTube you can. So head on over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done that already, ring that little notification bell, like the video, and drop a comment below, and tell us your thoughts throughout this whole thing. I'd be kind of interested to see what people go when they're revisiting this, because I haven't seen this in a long time. I mean, I haven't watched it since 2014. I'm ready.
First thing I noticed here, they're using Earthquake's theme song for this.
Oh, yeah. So this is the first NXT event. It's not only the first NXT event, it's the first event on the WWE Network.
Yeah, it's the first live show they ever broadcast. And as such, it was absolutely riddled with technical issues. For doing a little bit of research into it before going into this show, for quite a lot of people that are watching it for the first time, the show cuts out after the Xavier Woods Tyler Breeze match, which happens later on, and that means a lot of people miss the main event.
I liked this theme better than the one we have now. I don't like that screamo type. We are not your kind. My dad's upset with me and Aleister Black. Like, I don't like that stuff.
First thing I noticed here, Corey Graves has a wrestler in the intro here. Hey, it's Tom Phillips.
Wow, this is Sami Zayn prior to the Scar music.
Oh, wow.
Just some generic, like, completely forgettable music.
Yeah, I'm used to the doop 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 doop. Which is weird because when that first came out, I'm like, this doesn't fit anybody. Like, this isn't threatening or anything, but it's Sami Zayn and it fits him.
Oh shit, it's Brandy Rhodes.
Oh god, yeah, it is like
this is
6 years ago.
It's also weird, like, if you look at the turnbuckles, it's the WWE logo that they use now. Like, the NXT that you're seeing right there behind Byron Saxton, the NXT logo you see now, but the then, now, forever wasn't.
Yeah, they had it upgraded to that until SummerSlam.
Look at how young Tom Phillips looks.
I know.
Yeah,
it's only 6 years ago.
It's 3 guys that still
really
employed
young
the WWE.
Too.
Cesaro's got new theme music, of course. This is when he's still using the Real Americans, which I fucking love that theme.
6 years later, these guys are in a stable now.
Yeah,
that's true. Cesaro still hasn't won anything that people would have expected that he would have won. Sami Zayn still has not won anything that the people would have expected him to win.
JBL is the GM of the brand, apparently.
Oh yeah, he is right now because it was
Dusty.
Yeah, it was Dusty for a while, but I think he was suffering from an illness for a little bit, and then JBL took over for a while. I think Michael Cole actually took over for a little bit as well.
I wouldn't replace
Regal saying I recently faced Cesaro.
Oh yeah, it's his final match, wasn't it?
I wouldn't replace Regal as GM because he's so great, but I do think that JBL had something to offer as the GM. I wouldn't mind bringing him back at some point if they ever wanted to do that.
Yeah, the white balance is off.
Well, if there was ever a role for JBL was to just be in charge and bullying a bunch of upstarts, that kind of like fits his character pretty well.
That's true.
So these guys had already had a pretty long ongoing feud,
including a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Yeah, they'd already had the 2 out of 3 falls match. They'd already had like Sami pulling an upset over Cesaro in a match before. So this is just meant to be like a culmination of the rivalry because Cesaro was only really working with NXT part-time because they didn't have anything for him on the main roster. I mean, funny enough, this is the same year that Cesaro wins the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Oh, yeah?
He's only a couple of months away from that.
Yeah, just a month away from that.
Huh. Well, goes to show how much that mattered.
Yeah. Well, that was supposed to launch him into superstardom and he became a Paul Heyman guy, but it never worked out.
No,
so I think
this is what launches him into that, like, all right, we're going to put you against everybody because you can just work with the broom.
Well, it's funny because I think they mentioned it on commentary now that Cesaro wrestled in the Elimination Chamber a little bit earlier because he beat Randy Orton when Randy Orton was WWE Champion.
What was it, 3 days prior to this?
Yeah. Because this is in the build-up to, obviously, WrestleMania 30 and the Daniel Bryan story, all that stuff. And Sami was kind of seen as like NXT's Daniel Bryan.
So this is my favorite look for Cesaro. I like the that he's letting the stubble grow a little bit. He looks really rugged and defined. I was a big fan of him. I thought he had a lot to offer.
He's had a lot of really bad looks over the year, like those old school red gear type of stuff that he had before. He's had these weird pants that he keeps wearing lately. He tries new things. They always tend to suck, but like this, I like this look for him. I think it works.
Sami's
There's a young No Way Jose in the crowd.
I wish Sami was still wrestler.
Yeah, he just wrestles with putting people over now.
Yeah, but it just it feels so like sad the fact that he's now just essentially semi-retired.
Yeah.
I wonder why that's the case. Because they
They
never
like him
really
on the mic.
clarified all that much.
He's not like, it's not like he isn't cleared. They
Yeah.
just like him on the mic.
Yeah, he does wrestle matches occasionally. He just doesn't do it often anymore. I mean, he has suffered a lot of injuries in his career, so I don't know whether they've just caught up to him, which would also be upsetting. But just like this match, just that's so good. Just such a good summation of like how good he was at this point in his career.
Yeah, this was when a little bit after this, because when was it that he won the NXT title? It was like
A year later, or not later that year, December that year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
couple
December
months.
this year.
Yeah, I remember thinking when he was champion that I was like, all right, this guy is going to go up to the main roster and he can potentially be the next Daniel Bryan. Like,
I
this could
always saw
go in
him
that kind of way.
as like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I never thought they would turn him heel. He's such a good baby face.
Mm-hmm. He makes a good heel, though.
Yeah.
He's a good chicken shit weasel.
Yeah, but they have other people who could be better utilized there.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to equate the Weasley sniveling annoying heel with the guy that raises so much money for Syria and all that other
exactly.
stuff.
Thank you, Callum.
He's just a
Boo.
naturally good He's just a naturally good person.
Oh, because he doesn't like meat?
Boo. Who doesn't like steak?
Yeah, that's kind of true. Boo that guy. Boo that man.
Yeah.
Boo that man making me the
That's a
burger.
real man right there.
Yeah. I am not a fan of those barricades. AEW uses them, and obviously I grew up with WWE using that kind of stuff without even the little covers on them, because they use those security rails for years and years and years. But whenever WWE switched over to that more like solid block structure, I've loved it so much more ever since. I don't like the give that they have. It always seems like it's like more dangerous in a weird way.
Well, it's kind of the reason why I like it. Not the fact that it's more dangerous. It makes more noise. It feels more impactful, almost, than even though the barricades are more, I guess, sturdy.
See, I like the thump of the barricade. Like you hear like that, like kind of clink, but I like that like kind of thump.
No, I just like the thing like the steel moving after you've connected with it. Like New Japan uses those gates, and I think it leaves more of an impact, really. Just for me, but it does feel more. It's something that you'd associate more with like an indie, though.
Yeah, it's cheaper looking too.
He's about to blow the mind of everybody, or at least attempt to.
So I don't remember anything about this. Let's see.
And
God.
That's pretty good. I like that.
I knew it would end painfully. Regal getting his
Regal putting him over like $1 million fucking dollars.
Regal standing up, going War Games. Just like
Umanga.
Yeah. Umanga.
I don't know how. Like again, there's a guy who's never wrestled at all and has no real intention of ever doing it. I don't know how you can make uppercuts look that good and then not actually knock a guy's head off. But Cesaro has been the one to master it over these years, so.
Oh yeah, he's best uppercut ever.
I mean, it is funny as like non-wrestlers when you look at something like even just the Sami Zayn part of that, it's like he had to dive between the ropes there knowing that was going to happen, and he pulled that off, and it looks well, and it hurts and whatever like that. And sometimes I'm like, I like stood up out of bed and I'm like, ow, my left foot hurts or something. Like the most basic thing you could possibly do as a human is just like roll over and then balance yourself, and it's like, fuck.
I'm trying to see that there's some people in the crowd who have got like these white t-shirts on with some text on it. I'm trying, like, there's a group of them, and I'm trying to figure out what they're saying.
Oh yeah, what does that say?
I was trying to see if they were wearing like any red caps, and it was like "Make America Great Again" or something, but it's not. It was a little early for that.
We're
Be a
pre-Trump.
little early, yeah. Things were still okay.
There's a Sami section.
Oh, that's what it says.
Sign.
A single
Yeah.
Sami section sign.
How do
Somebody
these
with really bad
people?
handwriting. I hope that guy's grown up and like gotten a bit better as his spelling.
Yeah, the standard rule: fill in the letters. You can't really read white on white. Oh, there's Wilfred Brimley in the front row.
It's a Mojo Rawley shirt.
We'll be seeing him at some point. Don't you worry.
The shirt's about Mojo Rawley. Oh yeah,
yeah,
it says Mojo Rawley in red.
Rawley. I don't get hype. I stay hype.
Still think it's a much better shirt if you check out the T Public. I've got and the Redbubble. I think it's on both. The I don't get high, I am high. Pick up some merch if you're interested. There you go. There's your plug. Came out naturally.
They're already saying this is awesome, by the way. Like barely anything's happened yet.
Just like I think this is like the only match that I've really gone back and watched since Arrival, because I don't even know if I was watching NXT at this point, so it's hard to really tell. I know I started watching NXT in 2014. I just don't think I started until
we as Americans didn't have access to it until this point.
I know I watched this live.
I'm pretty sure I wasn't watching this one live. I think I watched the one that I definitely remember first watching was Our Evolution. I'm pretty sure by that point I had the network, but I've definitely gone back and watched this one. I think this is the only match I go back and like watch just because it's so good.
Now, are you writing for the website at this point?
Am I writing for what?
SmackDown Moment.
Oh, I must. Yeah. Oh no, not this point. This point, I'm still finishing university. I didn't start writing for Smark Moment until the end of September or October of 2014.
I think I was a few weeks away because I remember doing the Raw coverage for when Ryan took over the show.
I'm trying to find anything on Arrival on the website right now.
I'm sure you would have covered it at some point.
Yeah. I'm looking back on some really old, horrible graphics from like 2014 and 2015 and all that. Like, back when it was called the Divas Debrief and everything.
Someone in the crowd holding up a sign saying rematch of the year.
Yeah.
Like there'd be a lot of contenders in nowadays WWE.
I could see the first NXT takeover up on. Maybe I didn't post anything on Arrival. Wow.
That's here's your Arrival coverage 6 years later.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't stick with that name, because it didn't get traction on Smark Moment, so they realised, we've got to go with something else. It's not going to start. It's not pulling people's attention. Let's call it Takeover instead.
I don't think I posted the takeover one either because it says written by a guest writer. Must have been somebody else doing that coverage at that point.
Oh, you're good for NXT at this point then?
That's such a good spot. It's basically this entire match is Sami Zayn tries to do something, Cesaro catches him and slams him.
Well, at this point, I imagine Fanboys is still doing better for you, Tony.
Yeah, it might be. Maybe I had outsourced this, and maybe it's gone for something. I don't know. That's really strange. There is a thing that Wago wrote up about the WWE Network first being launched. I don't even remember Wago writing anything.
Didn't know you could write.
Yeah, there's NXT results coverage from March 6th, 2014. Wow. Huh.
I remember marking out for that. Like, I had not seen people do that at that point.
Amazing how many things changed in 6 years.
Yeah, the work rate now is like it's lightning quick when I think about it.
It doesn't feel too different. I said, like, if you put these guys in a match nowadays like that, they'd probably be working the same way.
But I think
These
they
guys are
need
more
to go
methodical
another
anyway.
mile because like they would be allowed to do so much more because so much more is expected now.
That's one of my favorite like moves, the Blue
Yeah.
Thunder Bomb.
I like that.
Just it always like the guy who's taking it just seems to be incomplete, like completely out of control.
And it's a logical move, like, you know, lifting somebody, spinning them around and slamming them seems like something that would really take you out of your element.
That
think
seems
he's-
to me like a better finisher for somebody like a Drew McIntyre than the Claymore.
Do you think? I wonder if Zayn has actually ever pinned someone with that move.
What?
Because like it's a move that always gets a reaction, the Blue Thunder Bomb, but I don't think I've ever seen him actually pin anyone with it.
Probably some like live event.
Maybe early on in his indie career.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about like the Sami Zayn, not El Generico.
Oh no.
This is good. I like this.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was a good reversal.
That's a good move for Cesaro.
That was such that. I mean, this was that's the Brock lock.
Yep.
So
Good move for Brock too.
yeah, it really worked for Brock because you need someone with like incredibly broad shoulders to pull this move off.
Broad Strowman.
Braun would actually be great for that move if I wasn't so worried that he just ripped someone's leg off.
Get these shoulders.
Zayn's selling is always so good as well. It just
Cesaro's
looks like
not fully bald.
No, he's not fully bald just yet.
This is he talked a lot about it recently about him trying to hold on to whatever hair he had left. This is still
He used to have like
just a little
really
bit.
long hair on the indies.
Yeah. And then he had
It's
short
so
hair
strange.
like that he referred to as the Kramer hair.
I love the fact the crowd is so disappointed. Like Zayn's the babyface, the crowd's so disappointed he didn't get swung around.
Yeah.
Oh, here they go.
And he's still fighting it. I love it. I love it. He's really trying to fight it.
Oh god, his head is almost bouncing off the mat that time. Like Zayn is one of the few people because most people that take that move, they always grab their head while they're doing it. So just make sure Zayn is just pulling and it doesn't
Flailing.
matter if his head like hits it.
It makes it better.
Oh yeah, it does make it better, but it makes it more dangerous, I assume, as well. Oh.
I don't remember who wins this.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm thinking about that. I don't remember who wins. So I'm almost watching this like thinking like, oh, near fall, like kind of thing. Like
I won't spoil it then. But somehow that's Zayn's got
CJ Parker
open.
wins, doesn't he?
Oh, totally.
First, this is awesome chant of the
significantly louder. This is awesome chant than the first time.
I'd be curious if the crowd is like, because I mean, I'm not paying attention to a whole lot of people in the crowd on a regular basis anyway, but I'd be curious how many people that are in this crowd right now are the ones that are still going.
A lot.
Yeah, I imagine there's quite a few. I mean, it's the same area, so.
Like, is he in that crowd? Is she like 2 or whatever the hell?
Well, Bailey's not on this show, so.
She's probably in the crowd, but unnoticeable. Like, if she's not got the Bailey look going on.
I think Bailey at the moment is there, but she's not like
Bailey. Bailey did the dark match, or did Sasha do the dark match? One of them did the dark match.
Wikipedia doesn't list a dark match, so it doesn't. So yeah, I can't find that on there.
Oh, spin it, swing him from the top. Oh shit, the Ricola bomb.
was good.
God, he landed really hard on his knees there.
What a
His knees weren't.
Oh.
Oh shit! I thought that was the end.
Damn, that's that. I mean, this is kind of like where he's got the mix of the where he was using the haluva kick. He was also using that was it Koji clutch?
Oh yeah, he tried that earlier. Dude.
Yeah, so Cesaro basically kicked out everything. So you're kind of building up the idea, but I think when Zayn ever did beat Cesaro, he usually did it with like a roll up or something anyway. So you kind of know that possibility is always around.
That was awesome. Nice headbutt.
I love it, like when people that sell headbutts properly because they deliver the move and then they suffer a little bit for it as well. Because it should hurt you if you're hitting someone's head with your own head, unless you're Samoan, obviously. Then you're like impervious to that damage.
Were they chanting? Oh, we the people.
We the people. Yeah.
For a second, I thought they were saying, "We want Regal."
Oh. Sami doing the hopeless spot. I like this because Sami Zayn was busted open, but this is obviously before the time they started putting gloves on when they got busted open.
Are they giving him an 8 count to like?
They're doing like the knockout spot here.
You know what I miss that they don't do it as much anymore? Somebody's got the submission in and they hold the hand up and drop it 3 times.
Yeah, that is like that's a rarity nowadays.
They need to bring that back because it's so like just. I mean, you could see it coming from a mile away, but it's a good spot to have like the whole like 1, oh no, 2, and he's still alive at 3. Like that's a good spot for like a Hoganish type and stuff.
I'm gonna check your arm once and then drop it.
Yeah, it's not as fun anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of reverted to the more, I guess, quote unquote, real approach of once their arm goes limp, that's like them just immediately calling for the bell.
But they could. Screw that. Give me some pomp and circumstance.
Well, yeah, The Rock made a career out of that spot, so it's like
right.
Hogan,
Yeah, Hogan
how many times was he in the $1 Million Dream or something like that? And it's sleeper hold or something like that.
Oh my god, man!
Yeah, it's such an easy baby face spot. Oh, I love a bit of like New Japan influence in these matches. Oh god, this is the Kevin and Sami spot before Owens is even there.
Oh shit! Regal is awesome. I love Regal. Oh!
Why didn't he make the Yakuza kick his finisher?
Man, I thought that was the end too. I never liked the neutralizer. That was good.
Like, I don't know what you call. I mean, obviously it's like a sunset bomb, but yeah. These two are so good.
With no disrespect to whoever else is on this show, it's gotta all be downhill from here. This is fucking
Bo Dallas's main event, of course.
Unreal.
I wonder if there are any like if there are that many people in the crowd that like actually joined the Performance Center.
I was thinking about that too.
Like, who do you think would be in that case?
It would have to be someone that lives fairly locally in Florida. So I don't know the locations of people enough really.
Like Caden Carter.
Maybe.
Yeah, like somebody like a Caden Carter.
I think she said that she was from Winter Park. But then again, maybe she's just like, I want to be billed from the area that I moved to or something like that. Whoa, damn.
Oh, I love him, man.
Oh, the 1 count kick out is always a good spot when you pull it off at the right time.
A true warrior of the Canvas Wars.
Cesaro's acting like he's so bewildered. It's like he's
gonna fucking kill him.
like still holding up the one, like he's in shock about the fact that.
Oh boy.
Oh, that was good.
So good.
Count to 20.
Good match.
Yeah, that's so good. Like with the big yes shirt. He's happy.
Oh my god, dude.
Mojo stays hype. Wow, well, all these people super into Mojo.
Well, that's what I think. I think those guys in the shirts, they all say Mojo Rawley on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. Like he must have his own little fan group at this point. Or it's just his family who's turned up to see him on a big show.
Well, it's like I tell you all the time. Like, Ogarelli and Rick Boogs are super over in the house shows.
Where did Rick Boogs go? Because Bugenhagen popped up a couple times on NXT, like well over a year ago, and then they're just kind of like, nah.
He's just doing the house show loops.
That's so weird. It's like, hey, make good on this opportunity, get over, and then we won't use you.
It's pretty incredible to just like think that obviously this is just the start really for NXT. Obviously NXT had been going for a while before that, but this is kind of the birthplace of what NXT is nowadays.
Bam! Oh
And,
my god! What a great
just how many
fucking
people
uppercut.
just are still yet to join NXT at this point? Because Owens hasn't joined NXT yet. Finn Balor isn't joined yet.
Hideo Itami hasn't come in and left.
Yeah,
We don't have, obviously, we don't have the current crop like Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Velveteen Dream.
I think we might see a very over Ascension.
yeah, that's how far back this goes.
When the Ascension actually mattered.
Well, they were still employed.
Bum 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 ba bum bum.
I always like this theme a lot.
Yeah, well, it was a good. It really fit. It just it fit Swagger really well.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't fit Cesaro as much, but for Swagger, it was a good, like, there's like a bit of obnoxiousness to it, but I like it.
Yeah, because it feels like something that if you were really into the whole America's great and everything, you could kind of see it as like a national anthem.
Swagger
Yeah.
would be super over in a
Like,
Trump era.
For James Bond fans, like, this could be like the entrance theme of Whitaker from The Living Daylights. Always like
And
respect
again,
spots.
Yeah, it's always good, especially like it's at the culmination of this feud. So it was the right time to do it, even though Cesaro was a heel at this point.
Those things can go a long way, and I think that WWE loses track of that every once in a while. And you can't do it, obviously, for every feud, but in an instance like this, like, Cesaro is the bigger star, and him beating Sami Zayn, but then doing this, really can make a lot of people in the crowd go, yeah, you know what? And sometimes that's all you need, is to convince somebody that they think something better of somebody just by telling them.
Yeah,
How
I remember.
often can, like, people just subscribe to whatever the philosophy is that they're being told just because they're told it enough? Sometimes it doesn't work, obviously. Like, oh, every time that you boo John Cena, it's a good thing. Okay, sure. Well, people are going to still boo him anyway. But, like, you know, like, that could be the difference maker between a couple people in the crowd here going from, yeah, Sammy was, he's a good wrestler, but he lost, so he's never going to win anything, to, okay, he almost won this. Maybe he'll win the next one.
I kind of missed this. I kind of just want Sami Zayn to be a
Sami Zayn to be a
babyface
wrestler
again.
again.
I wanted to wrestle again, and I wanted to be a babyface again.
That was awesome. I don't want this theme song ever again. Anything.
I
I love the fact they started playing it, but then they heard the crowd start chanting. It's like, well, yeah, we got to turn this off for a bit, and now we'll do it. Yeah,
This theme
he
could
needs
work
a
for
star.
somebody else, but it doesn't work for Sami Zayn.
No, that he needs some
That
star
was
influence.
amazing.
That was a great match.
Well, it seems like as good a time as any for a commercial break, since they are in a commercial right now for
Stay hype. He's
Mojo
hype.
Rawley, the hype man.
He's very not tan here.
Yeah, he's thick in this. Like, what do you think a man is capable of if he stays hyped?
Not too much, bro. Oh, yeah.
God.
Awful.
Who's this? Oh, I'm like, I gotta remember this person. All right, now get in the ring.
Yeah.
Somebody wail Gary Jones and Teresa, whatever her name was.
They got a lot better about the people that were sat in the crowd now in the NXT shows.
Yeah, now they tend to be like indie darlings and stuff.
Now, speaking of night and day,
Who's it? Oh shit, CJ Parker. I was just talking about him earlier.
holy shit! Like this
Well, in
guy
fairness
is
to
now.
him,
Yeah, this guy is now one of I wouldn't say one of the most overacts, but he is like a really overact in New Japan Pro
he's still
Wrestling.
as flamboyant, if not more so.
And oh my god,
Is
this
he a
is so
babyface
embarrassing.
here or is he a heel?
Who
Because I
cares?
instinctively want to hate him.
Hmm.
But I can't tell if I'm supposed to hate him.
I
I
mean,
think
whatever he is, it's not working. I think this is before his Eco Warrior phase.
So he's totally a heel playing
Yeah.
here. Mojo like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
I do remember thinking, though, for a little bit that I was like, all right, if Mojo Rawley gets better in the ring and can cut a better promo, then maybe he's got something, because at least he's passionate, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't blame
Yeah.
them for trying to push Mojo. Like, he's somebody that I could write off now, and I could write off a couple years ago even, as being like, well, that's not going to work. He's not going to be the next big thing. But at
he
least
looks
at
like
one
a living,
point,
breathing commercial for fucking Monster Energy drink.
yeah.
It's also quite funny that you said like he came out like a bat like out of hell, because when I see Mojo Rawley now, I think Meatloaf. So it just sounds like this is a guy that probably eats meatloaf pretty much every other meal.
I would do anything for love, but I can't stay hyped.
Just to see how both their careers have just
Diverging
considering
paths for sure.
Yeah, like one of them left and has actually like seen a huge uptick in his career because of it, and the other one hasn't left, and well, he got an Andre the Giant trophy, I guess, out of it.
A couple 24/7 title reigns.
Yeah.
He ain't hype.
He got his own like defensive tackle who left him after a couple of weeks. I kind of want to just like see how good Mojo was at this point in time, because I've always kind of had a bit more of an affinity towards Mojo than most people have, just because of like his passion and his energy. I thought if you got that, then you can get somewhere as long as you can be taught how to work.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, I'd rather not. But like...
if this were back in the day, Mojo Rawley, you put some kind of weird gimmick on him, and you slap like the right marketing procedures, he could have been a big deal back in 1980 something or 90 something. Then again, that's the same era that we had like Skinner and Repo Man and, you know, Skip and Zip.
I just don't know what this big hippie gimmick thing was supposed to even do for CJ Parker.
Well, but like, he's still very colorful and flamboyant, right?
Yeah, but now he's charismatic. He just doesn't feel charismatic. He feels like a guy who's trying to be like super out there and super charismatic, and now it just kind of flows naturally from him.
But I feel like it's kind of an offshoot of what they did with Brian last year, what they're doing with Sami now. It's like, oh, you like the environment? You fucking weirdo. You're a bad guy. I'm going to feed you to this Monster Energy guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of that mixed with the finest Kona Reeves, where you can tell that Kona Reeves is trying to be like a hated heel who is so over the top and everything, but people just don't connect with him enough to be able to really care. So it's you ever see like a stand-up comedian that's really trying to make people laugh, but the jokes aren't funny?
Did you hear Regal say, I could care less if there's only 1,000 panda bears?
Wonder what the number is now.
Goddamn panda bears, you cost us the WWF now.
That's true.
Although we won't tell you that.
Not in your documentary, you won't.
These guys like...
Let's see how many pandas are left.
Yeah, these guys are green. Like, they are doing so much so over the top. Like, it's kind of like hammy wrestling.
Yeah,
like... Fucking hell. That was his finisher?
Would you not stay down after Mojo Rawley bumped you with his Monster Energy ass?
I mean, we went from that match to this match. It's kind of a...
There's a bit of a difference. Does that sign say Paige here?
Yeah, Paige is on the show.
No, what does that sign say?
Oh.
It looked like it said Paige here. That's way too...
Yeah, that's way too... Oh.
Paige. Oh, it's Paige. Her. It didn't say here. It says her.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, this person's a prophetic or something? Like, Paige here. It says Paige here. Get back to me in a couple of years.
Yeah. You gotta tell, like Mojo probably feels like that kid with a t-shirt that hasn't aged. Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Look how over Mojo is. That's like driving me nuts.
Yeah. I wonder if that guy goes back to watch that now and thought, yeah, I bet on the wrong guy.
Good old Emelina. I hated this gimmick with Emma.
What gimmick?
This whole I don't know, chop in the air type thing, whatever she's doing.
Oh yeah.
That theme song is over as fuck. Boop, 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 boop.
She always had a killer body on her though.
Oh my god. Renee looks so young too.
This is before Dean Ambrose wore her down.
This is something that was gonna work in NXT because NXT is that kind of crowd. But as soon as it got onto the main roster, it just wasn't going to translate. Oh god, yeah, she already has been on the main roster at this point.
Are you sure?
Yeah, she had debuted with she debuted in the crowd with Matt holding that Evolution sign with Santino.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
So she kind of was. So she actually got to the main roster before Paige did, really.
Huh. Oh, that was. There's a couple of people that we haven't seen. Oh god, I'm blanking on the name. The one that she was just like making tap out. A brunette, right? Man. Blanking on her name. She was somebody who I remember at this time. No, I don't think it was her. But there was Drew Marie. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, yes.
I remember thinking like, oh, she ends up going somewhere. Like she could look like a staple person, you know. And she didn't even end up making a big enough splash in NXT, let alone the main roster. Yeah, so this must be the Ascension. Let's see. Yep, there you go.
Mm.
There's the rat.
This is a good video. This is already looking like a good video package, though. I kind of like those shots. Those shots actually look pretty good.
trying to figure out who these people are.
Well, all they did was just face a bunch of jobbers. They never actually fought anyone that was decent.
Yeah, sometimes those jobbers end up being people in the future. Like, they had shown somewhat recently, I think it was like Owens had beaten like Elias Samson when he was just Elias Samson and stuff, you know?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure some of them might have actually ended up doing some sort of wrestling work, but it was just interesting. Like, they was just called all like this undefeated streak and the most dominant tag team in history, and they never actually really beat anybody significant after they won the titles.
The majority of undefeated streaks, like, they never really put them up against a lot of major names.
No, but Asuka's streak was like, she had quite a few like notches in terms of actually beating like top names. It does seem like Conor and Victor just went from one jobber to the next, and then they occasionally got a one-off match with, like, I don't know, Kalisto and El Local, whatever.
Is this going to be Kalisto and El Local?
No, it's well, I'll leave it as a surprise because they issued an open challenge for this
for this
show.
Who they end up facing.
Yeah, don't check it. It ruins the surprise, obviously.
I don't know why they thought, let's give him face paint.
Because
oh my god.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I mean, not only is this obviously when Brian Christopher was still alive, but look at Scotty 2 Hotty.
This is quite depressing now, because even if it's a show 6 years old and there's actually someone who's dead on it who competed on it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, they just happen to have a video package ready for
It's like, I feel like, oh god, you're like one of the first people to have ordered the WWE Network, and you don't know who Too Cool is. It's like, I guess there's probably like a handful of people that didn't know who Too Cool was, who might have who might have got the network later, but you're probably only really appealing to hardcore fans at the moment.
Yeah. But then again, you might look at Scotty 2 Hotty and not know that he's Scotty 2 Hotty.
Scotty Hotty at this point looks like he looks like when Tom Hardy played Bronson.
Like, you get one look at him and you're like, is that Chains or 8-Ball or? That was a cool little graphic. I like that.
That was such an aggressive graphic.
Tag Team Championship. Fuck you. Actually, right then he looked like Christopher Daniels. Catch him on the outside right there.
What the fuck was that? Okay, these guys aren't on the same page pretty early on.
Yeah.
Funny because I think the Ascension it wasn't originally these two, was it?
No, it was like 5 people, and it somehow got narrowed down to just these 2.
It is a shame. Like, I never liked Connor. I never thought that he was really going to be anything as much as he... Like, you look at him. He's a big dude. There's always potential when somebody's that big that they could end up being some big standout type of person. But I just never thought he was good on the mic. I never really thought that he was interesting in the ring. But when they went and they put them down in NXT and they started doing this, when they came up to the main roster, I was like, okay, I'm cool with these guys being like a big, featured, good tag team. And they killed them.
Like, yeah, immediately.
They almost like actively tried to neuter their careers. And that's not right.
You can make an argument that nobody ended up better on the main roster, like Bo Dallas and, Mojo Rawley or whatever. But with the Ascension, they forcefully tried to fucking kill the Ascension. The first thing they did was make them look like a knockoff LOD, and then have Paul and Nash and the APA beat them up. Because, wow, we're really scared of them now, aren't we?
Because that's the thing is, like, there's lots of people that have had some struggles, but there's lots of people that have gone and done some good things. Like, even though Asuka is not as big as she was in NXT. She's still a former SmackDown Women's Champion. She still won the Royal Rumble. She's still a tag team champion. She's still protected pretty well overall. Like, if Asuka were to win another title, people wouldn't be like, oh, you mean to tell me that this person won? Like, no, Asuka's believable. Somebody like an Alexa Bliss, she did so much better on the main roster than she did in NXT. Finn Balor's done some good stuff. Kevin Owens, former Universal Champion, multi-time mid-card champion. Like, there's plenty of people that do succeed. But the Ascension are part of that bottom of the barrel, just they didn't even get a chance to succeed type of stuff. And over the 6 years of, well, not even 6 years, the 5 years, think about how much of a difference they went through in those couple of years. Here, they're wrecking shop. They're top of the tag team division. They're undefeated. All this other kind of stuff. You skip forward to them being on the main roster. They do things like they fight the New Age Outlaws. They become a member of the Stardust Cosmic Wasteland stable. They start messing around with the Breezango. They went through 2 or 3 changes each year for those 4 or 5 years and got to a point where it was like, we don't even want you to be on house shows.
Are they chanting, we want ya?
Because they used to do the yeah.
I know, but like they want it so bad that they're just, we don't want to see you wrestle. Just do the fucking yeah.
I know I want this match to be over. God, they're so boring. I don't know what everyone's fascination was with the Ascension. They were so dull.
Wait till they start doing yeah.
I'm sure that will change the whole dynamic of the match. But
it's going to.
But they just never seem to do any. They never had anything special. I mean, their finisher move has been replaced now with the high low by Undisputed Era that do better.
A little less hair. It's bald.
Yeah, I think you'll find he's got 100% less hair than he used to have. I think he still wrestles occasionally.
He's a trainer at the Performance Center.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know he was a trainer. So I'd seen him like wrestling on like a few independent shows in the last few years. Crowd really excited for that. They're excited for like a couple of seconds and then they sit back down.
It's very clear, like we're entering that era of like we just want to be involved. Give us a fun thing to chant.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The German side. We want to be involved, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just waiting for the worm to happen and then I'm basically done with this match. So we just get to that point.
Fast forward a couple of years and we get Otis doing the Caterpillar.
All I want to see is the worm and the There we go. It does look like Daniels. Oh my god.
Yeah, see?
He looks like a mixture of Chris Daniels and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. Say that now.
Somebody took Chris Daniels, Shawn Michaels, Steve Austin, 8 Ball. Like, all these people just made a weird stew out of it.
Yeah. And they taught them how to do the work.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Oh. What a heel.
Wait, they didn't fucking what the hell?
They're doing the anyway.
Yeah, the crowd will do it. If they're not going to, the crowd will do it. Oh, that looks so weak. I think I preferred the CJ Parker match almost. Okay, so NXT wasn't always great. I think that's kind of the lesson.
Yeah, that first match, phenomenal. The next two, if that was the quality of what everything was, people wouldn't be going crazy over it anymore.
imagine what the standard of tag team wrestling in NXT now is probably better than it is anywhere else in the world. And then you just see where it came from, like fucking hell, it's just.
Yeah, I did enjoy I enjoyed when Blake and Murphy got it. And then I feel like from there it got the rival, DIY, and their
It's strange though to think that like there were times in NXT where they had more tag teams and more focus on the tag team division, where it wasn't necessarily even as good as what the past couple of years have been. Because these past 3 years or so, maybe even 4, I don't know how far back you want to go, but like American Alpha, The Revival, DIY, AOP, Viking Raiders, like all these teams, Undisputed Era, of course, probably being the top of the top, but like the tag team division in NXT has just been so amazing for years. This is like a completely different type of Paige too from what we got now. This is a girl that had her future ahead of her, hadn't messed up as much as she did. She looks different because she doesn't have a bunch of plastic surgery and tattoos.
Yeah, she looks fantastic here.
It's kind of depressing.
Actually, I'll give you that.
Yeah, this is the anti-diva pay. Yeah, before she became the total diva.
This is the world is my oyster, and you might not want to touch that championship because you don't know where it's been. Type of Page. That is the title. That's in the video. Wait, who did she beat to win the title again?
She beat Emma, I think. No, I think she beat Emma to win it the first time. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but it was either Emma or Samurai.
Because
why did she debuted and just delivered 0 change?
Wow, look at Charlotte.
Oh my god.
Charlotte looks yeah, she looks better here.
This is when they were just calling her Charlotte. They weren't calling her Charlotte Flair.
Well, they didn't do that until like 2 years into her main roster.
Yeah, I know.
I think they only started doing that because they thought Flair was gonna die that day.
It's still got the glitter and all that.
But it's still it's still diva like, but it's more. It's still a women's title.
Oh god, it couldn't get any worse.
Oh, they're not happy.
Yeah. I also just did a check, and she did defeat Emma for the title originally.
Principal owner of WWE is her title here.
I mean, yeah, this is when the authority. It's a weird situation where the authority angle is going like strong, and Triple H's Uncle Paul beloved in NXT. Obviously, Stephanie's still hated.
Yeah,
but that's not difficult. She's very hateable. Also, I think another interesting aspect that we could pick up here is that it's funny that even only 6 years ago they were still doing.
She just walked to the ring.
They were still doing. They were still using entrance videos because they don't really have Titantrons anymore. They just have people's names or patterns.
They have lazy background patterns with text for them.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm okay with that. I don't think you need clips of them doing the things. We've already seen the clips. Nobody should be watching the Titantron anyway, you know?
I love the fact she's making a huge deal about how this is the first show that's been streamed on WWE Network, when probably for about half the people watching, the show's already crashed at this point. Going through many technical difficulties.
It didn't crash for me until Tyler Breeze came.
Yeah. So those words just came back to would come back to haunt her eventually, but.
Oh, is it?
Let's see if this match is better.
It's going to be better than the 2 matches we just saw.
Yeah, it doesn't need to work that hard to do that.
She was wrong about that diva thing, but
Yeah, Diva didn't stick around.
Yeah, I just hated this.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, I liked Emma's heel character, at least originally.
Nice.
They put way too much effort into that sign.
Yeah.
Okay, I like Regal doing it. That's gonna be a highlight for this.
Why is William Regal the best at everything?
So this is how long before she got arrested for falsely trying to steal a phone case, even though she wasn't really stealing it. It was just one of those misunderstandings.
This is a while before.
Like 2 years. Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was definitely she was definitely firmly in the main roster by that point. But also that girl, like Split Loyalties, wearing a Paige shirt, doing the Emma dance. I mean, whose side are you on? Wasn't she like wearing a leather jacket backstage, and now she's just wearing a t-shirt?
Well, you know, it's a logical progression because she's going to take the t-shirt off. So, you know, she's just like she goes from one area backstage, and as the closest she gets to the ring, she takes one thing off each time. So there you go. Now she's taking it off. So if she were to go past the ring, eventually she'd take off her top or her shoes, or you know, like it's just one of those things. Well, technically speaking, yeah, because now she's going to get rid of the belt. So she got even closer to the ring and took the belt off. Oh, there you go. Wait, is the ref John Cone? John Cone even looks different.
Less tan and less defined for even John Cone. What is that?
Think about it. Like Nicholas was like 5 at this point.
Yeah, former WWE Tag Team Champion Nicholas.
Like that she held up the title. God, she has to make the moment about her, doesn't she?
You know what, McMahon? You didn't show it to the hard camera. What the fuck? Boo you, Steph. There you go, John. Sure, it's done.
It is always funny when the referee holds it upside down, though.
Because these two, like in like the storyline, obviously in real life they're obviously good friends as well, but in storyline they were also shown as like teaming together occasionally. Like they were kind of like an early and slightly less impressive version of the Broserweights, really, in that Paige was like the very straight lace, like, oh, I'm all sullen and sulky and that sort of thing, and Emma was just bizarre and trying to bring out some personality in Paige. Oh
yeah, I forgot the Paige Turner.
Oh yeah, that was her. One of her finishes at this point. I liked Paige early on just because she used multiple finishers.
The Rampage.
Oh, she's gonna debut the Scorpion here.
The PTO, Paige Tap Out.
Whatever they call it.
Ugh, that was not as good of a name as the Rampage and the Paige Turner.
Nah. Well, I've never seen a catapult reversed like that before.
You wonder why.
I mean, it wasn't the cleanest thing, but at least it's like original.
At least you tried to win.
We're still doing this though.
What,
the whole like the hair pulling and.
I don't think it's like that's. I know it's very associated with Diva's thing, but if you're like portraying a heelish character and someone's got long hair, you do pull it.
There's a difference between how you do it, I think. Like, if you're doing it because you don't know anything else to do, and it's just, well, it's a women's match, let's do this hair pulling thing because it's easy and we can do it, like they used to do.
Well, yeah, it's very different from the Kelly or Tori Wilson, where you grab the person by the hair in the corner and then you whip them across the ring. That's kind of.
You're like, yay! I'm doing a wrestle.
Is she already bleeding in the mouth, or did she get lipstick on her teeth?
I think it's lipstick, yeah.
Okay. It is a pretty thick shade that she's wearing. It's quite funny because like by the time that this because it's like the first women's match on an NXT special show, and by the time the next the first takeover happens, both these girls are on the main roster. So they've had to just go completely different.
Natty and Charlotte
have their
really
match.
had their first match and kick that whole division off.
And now, I mean, you fast forward a couple of years, and we've got Charlotte Flair just yesterday clarifying that the reason why she's going to challenge Rhea Ripley for the NXT Championship at WrestleMania is because she laid the foundation with her title reign in NXT, and this is before that even happened.
When
was the next takeover? Well, the first takeover.
May.
The Wednesday before that year's Payback.
So they gave Charlotte the title that quick?
Yep.
Like she went from not
like
even
singing in the crowd,
debuting to winning the championship. Well,
she was already wrestling.
Yeah, she's already signed with NXT and she has already wrestled. But in between now and that takeover, she joins with Sasha Banks and Summer Rae. Yeah, to form their best friends group, and then eventually turns babyface, and everything else is history, I guess.
Now we have a much better best friends trio with Trent and Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. Not in WWE, obviously, but I hate so much when people just say, my finisher is my name and then lock. The Emma lock, the Oscar lock. Fuck you. Think of something. Actually spend 5 minutes to think of a name.
Well, do they come up with a name, or do the company come up with a name?
Whoever does, take 5 minutes and just do it. Like, if I were a wrestler, I wouldn't have a finisher called the Tony Lock. You know? No, I could do a play off a mango, like, you know, that kind of thing. And like, for instance, like
the
when
mango
Dace,
double claw.
like when Dace was wrestling and he was trying to figure out a finisher, I was like, here's a bunch of puns you could do, like Daced and Confused and stuff like that.
The Dace Crusher.
Like,
my Ace Crusher.
But that's like, you know, you're going like punny or something, and you don't have to go punny. Like, I mean, somebody's just like, oh, I've got the crossface is a cross-face thing or something like that. You don't just call it like the Benoit lock, you know.
Yeah. But the Paige Turner and the Rampage are good.
Rampage. I like Rampage a lot
because they're just taking a name and putting it into, because it makes sense with the ones as well. I mean, Paige Turner, you're turning them inside out. The Rampage, you're driving them like head-firsted thing. And that actually sounds pretty good. It's just a name overall.
And the figure 4,
the dilemma.
That's a good one.
Yeah, the dilemma. Why wouldn't that be just her finisher?
Well, because it's a tarantula, you can't really do that.
No, but I mean, like the name Dilemma, like that could be the finisher move.
Yeah.
And I think the Emmamite sandwich ends up becoming the full name. Play off of Vegemite because she's Australian.
Never had Vegemite. Have you guys?
No, it's well, from what I've at least been told, it's like similar to Marmite, only stronger.
It's just not very good from what I've been told.
Yeah, I kind of have no interest in trying that. It's kind of the same as when somebody goes, "Oh,
this." People just say he's been married 17 times. Why can't he have a lady like Emma?
It's interesting because
in modern news, as we go along here, JBL is the NXT GM here, and apparently reports are going up that he'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2020.
Really?
Oh,
he deserves it.
Callum didn't feel so.
I mean, he deserves a lot of things. I don't know if Hall of Fame induction is one of the
longest reigning SmackDown champion, multiple time tag team champion, Intercontinental champion, been there for years. Yeah, he deserves it.
And I hope Joey Styles inducts him and punches him out again, like he did last time.
I'm not saying that I would be against it. You know,
it's one of these. I mean, this match is like an odd example of like babyface. So you've had to have like 2 separate heat segments. It could occasionally go well, occasionally like not fit into it as greatly. There's also like the start because is Sarah Marta working for the company by this point?
I think so.
Yeah, because this is a time when like the women's wrestling really turns up the screw on submission holds.
I think she's working, but not Sarah Stock.
Right. Yeah. Sarah Stock didn't start till like a couple of years later. But it's just interesting to like see how now like these two started off really, but how so many like women in WWE now use a submission hold as their main finisher. Because you never used to see that really. You used to just see them use the X Factor or the Bella Buster or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, maybe a DDT.
Yeah.
Since it's easy.
Or a roll up or a schoolgirl. That's kind of like the ways that you won matches in the Divas division beforehand.
And then it ends up being Becky, Sasha, Charlotte, Asuka.
Yeah. Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, Baszler.
A lot of them use like some form of a submission, so yeah, it's these two kick it off as well. So
look at Emma kicking things off.
Yeah. I imagine like I think probably by like looking back in 2020 standards, this isn't like revolutionary. But
it was at the time.
Yeah, but at the time, like people watching this and thinking, like especially if people who only watch. Well, yeah, if people had only watched who'd only ever watched WWE and only really watched it since the Divas division had started in like the early 2000s, they're probably watching this and thinking, I thought only like why aren't they like constantly pulling each other by the hair? Why is this match gone over 5 minutes? Why is it still going? That sort of thing. They're probably.
Where's the Bronco Buster spot?
Yeah. I mean, this is still pre-give Divas a chance movement as well.
A good year before it.
Yeah, so because obviously these two were involved in that match that caused it. So, but it's just interesting that they're kind of like you see the seeds for the revolution, but they're not hamming it up yet because they haven't had a huge fan backlash yet.
They're marking out over a superplex because the women doing it.
Oh, that was nice.
She kicked out with her shoulders, her legs. That's how she did it.
Yeah. I've never seen. It's just like amazing. Like never seen a women's wrestler hit a sit-out powerbomb before. I mean, got
better than Batista.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, because Batista's around right now.
Back and he's a heel. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not as like random as you might think it will.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Dana Brooke uses the Batista bomb now.
Oh, she should. You know.
Yeah.
Probably has some practice. So this is how long before Dana Brooke got in? Because Dana was with Emma for a little bit.
Yeah, she got in around about like 2015, I think.
Year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was when Emma turned heel, but I think she'd already signed with WWE for a little while beforehand, and then she forms up with Emma after that. I'm kind of like, I want Dana Brooke to succeed, but I'm kind of hoping for the chance that if she does get released, because she is the first person in kayfabe commentaries that can finally answer the question, how big is Batista's dick?
Right.
No, Melina could have.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't if she hadn't been asked that.
Probably Maria could have.
Maria said she couldn't, but she did answer that Punk has a pretty good but average size dick.
We need a Conrad Thompson, Dana Brooke podcast.
Yeah. So chat me up on Batista's dick.
Yeah, they were talking like flare length. What are we talking here? Do we need the blue chew or not?
Now, Dave Meltzer reported in the Observer.
I think the crowd might be going a little overboard with the "This is awesome" chant, but it's a good match.
For that time period, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Curious how far away from Emma dating Zack Ryder this is too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That did happen.
I don't think she did that until she was on the main roster. This is an impressive move.
This is a really good move.
Yeah.
Especially for somebody Paige's size.
Yeah.
Wow, for a split second, I almost reached over to my keyboard to type out the result. I'm so fucking trained to be like, I need to report.
That's quite like a weirdly like New Japan influence finished as well, because in New Japan matches you typically see someone hit a big move or a signature or a finisher move, and then the wrestler kicks out of it, and then they just hit their finisher and win. So that's kind of like, it's odd because you usually don't see. Usually in WWE, the finisher just comes out of nowhere almost. But it's definitely like it's a clear indication, especially like what 2014 standards were, that women's wrestling's heading in the right direction with these two.
Somebody should bring this move back. Because Paige isn't going to wrestle anymore.
No, again, that's a huge shame. It is such a shame. Like at this point, she looks like she has so much promise, and now she just I'm not saying her career is over, but her in-ring stuff won't happen again. So
yeah, because I mean, at this point, she's how old? Like,
I'm
20,
21, so she's 20. No, she's 22.
So you're thinking she's got at least 10 years. Maybe like even 15 years that she could do this if she wanted to. And it's not even, because we're looking back, this is at this point 6 years old, because, I mean, this came out February 27th. We're recording this February 18th, which is funny enough. But it hasn't even been the full 6 years that she's been out of the game. Like, she didn't even get 6 years at this point.
Yeah,
she got like 3.
Like 3.
Yeah,
and that's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, from this point, like in a couple of months' time, she's the Divas champion. She's out of NXT and she's on the main roster, and then injuries start to catch up with her.
Because when did the whole thing with the suspension in Del Rio happen? That was like 2017?
That was like 17? No, it was about mid-26. I think it was about mid-16. It's difficult to remember everything, even if it was only a few years ago.
This dude just always looks incredible.
So she got suspended in 2016.
Yeah.
July 2016. So yeah, you skip forward 2 years and she's on the
she really only got 2015 in full.
You know what's funny? That little thing that they just put those graphics up, where it said Adrian Neville, the noise in the background. Guess what that was?
What?
That was the same noise that's on the World's Finest thing. That
yeah,
that was the same one. That's so weird. So anybody who didn't check out the World's Finest fan tracks that we did, there's a noise that happens in that when we're watching it, I'm going, oh my god, I've heard this before at some point. And it's turns out that it's the thing from South Park on the Mr. Hanky episode where they're trying to judge whether or not anything is offensive, and he says like camel, and somebody's upset about it, and chair, and stupid wop dago. And then it's that noise that plays in there. So I keep hearing this noise now. It's strange.
Just to see quite a lot of clips of, again, seeing some of these and seeing some of the superstars that he's fighting.
Harper and Rowan.
I noticed Harper and Rowan. I saw Cassius Ohno there.
That wasn't even Harper. That was Cassius.
Yeah, well, I saw Harper there as well at one point.
Yeah,
And then I saw Drew McIntyre as well, like leather 3MB Drew McIntyre. Yeah.
Ah,
God,
what a
how
weird
things change.
situation.
Now, I will say, when I was watching NXT at this point, I wasn't super familiar with a lot of these people because the WWE Network had only been around for a little bit, and
Yeah, it's pretty right.
I wasn't watching the live events because you can't watch the live events. But some of these people, I was just like, I don't get it. Like, I don't see why people are acting like Bo Dallas is something that really can be anything. And look at the Shield, look at Big E with the powder.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting looking back now because some of these people were like, I don't want to say generic, but like they didn't really seem to have the same impact. But I think it's since NXT started to bring on board more of the independents, like superstars, like the people from like Ring of Honor and any other location. They've really started to get more and more traction and started to look like they've got loads of stars.
Oh shit! I forgot Xavier is using the somebody call my mama.
Oh yeah, that was part of his like debut, wasn't it? Because he stole Brodus Claw's theme music. God, what shitty way to debut! I'm so glad it worked out for him because he's such a good guy.
Yeah, underrated.
Yeah, I mean, now he's like one of the longest reigning.
Go ahead.
Well, to say nowadays he's one of the like longest reigning tag team champions of all time. So
I think we're about to see. If I recall correctly, I think we're about to see Alexa Bliss act as a fangirl during Tyler's entrance.
I want Woods to get an Intercontinental title reign at some point.
I wanted him to. I really wanted him to win that US title when he was doing that big campaign for the US Championship. Like it was when the US title was like held in like a vacancy for some reason. But I can't remember who he ended up, because I think Woods made it to the final, but I can't remember who beat him for it.
Was that Rude?
No, I don't think it was Rude. I think it was the guy that Rude ended up beating for it.
Corbin?
Potentially. I might have to just go back and check, but oh god, it's not even the Tyler Breeze theme music. God, this is how far back all this stuff is. He doesn't have the selfie stick, he's just using his hand like a pleb.
They're not even hiding the Apple logo.
He looks better now.
Yeah, he looks a bit like metrosexual Bond villain in this sort of in this get up.
So you're saying you think that Alexa Bliss pops up with this?
Okay, I guess it wasn't this takeover. It must be another one. Because I remember one of them, he's walking down the ramp and Bliss is just some fangirl that tries to hug him.
I'm pretty sure. Like I would look at this gimmick now, obviously not knowing what Tyler Breeze would come, but I'd look at that and just think, okay, this guy's just Sylvan.
Really, that's where your mind goes, to Sylvan?
Well, it's the same gimmick essentially. It's just a dude.
It off really well.
Oh yeah, he pulled it off a lot better, but it's just a guy who just is in love with his appearance. Oh, they have started the Breeze's Gorgeous chant. That's good.
Oh, Rusev. What the hell?
Oh my god.
Did not see this coming. This is Alexander Rusev, too.
Oh, and there's Lana.
Rusev without the boots, with the long hair.
Yeah. So Rusev would, I guess kind of, he ends up on the main roster a couple of months after this, but
with his social ambassador Lana, that is not interested in cheating on him.
Yeah, this is pre-Cuck Rusev.
This is a man who is very much in control of the relationship he has.
But Rusev had debuted in the Royal Rumble on the main roster. Because I think he came in like number 5 or 6 or something, and then he lasted a little while and eliminated 1 or 2 people. But I think it was pretty clear that Vince saw a pretty giant, stocky foreign superstar and thought, "Yeah, I'm going to make something out of this guy."
See, that's what's weird about something like that, because to me, Rusev doesn't look that big.
No, he's wide. He's wider than he is tall.
Yeah, he's kind of like Big E. Like Big E is like this muscular, thick, kind of obviously bigger than the average person type of guy. But like, I don't look at somebody like a Big E or Rusev or somebody with that kind of a build and go, "Oh man, they're like a giant. They're larger than life. They're all this kind of." There's the next Andre type of thing, or there's the next Hogan or something.
Oh, this is when she's still stuck to her accent.
So are they a couple at this point?
You're
No,
breaking
not
the
that I'm aware of.
law. I think they might have been by this point. Good old USA, Chad.
Yeah. I just think if Vince was ever watching this and just thought, John Cena in a year's time. Do you think he's speaking Russian there, or is he speaking Bulgarian?
Bulgarian.
Okay. Because he doesn't really go into the full Russian thing until he gets onto the main roster.
I think if
It was
Vince
French.
saw this, he's looking at this and going, I want him now.
Well, Vince never watched NXT, so.
Well, one would imagine he would at least watching the network. Couldn't figure out how to get it to go to the classic stuff.
Yeah, by this point, Vince is probably watching it and thinking, hang on, it cut out. It's like it's gone. I think at this point,
the thing Yowie Wowie, but I know they weren't.
Nah. I think at this point, if the stats on Wikipedia are accurate, take it with a grain of salt, but they had about 500,000 subscribers at this point. And this is like in the build up to WrestleMania 30, so they probably ramped up by the end of it.
You know, on paper, this isn't a really great show. Like the Cesaro and Sami Zayn match, that is an awesome match, but it also is the type of thing where they had wrestled a bunch of times, so it's kind of like, well, seen it before. Mojo against CJ Parker, I mean, whatever, it's a 3-minute match. The Ascension against Too Cool, Paige against Emma in a rematch. Rusev interrupts a Tyler Breeze and Xavier Woods thing, and then you get your main events. Bo Dallas is a champion. Like, this kind of sucked.
I mean, it's
I'm having fun watching it, but it's like
that with the 2020 hindsight.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, I'm having fun rewatching this, but it's still kind of like blah.
But Bo Dallas was great as a character. I thought like maybe it's not like main event level, but he
should have been like, if they would have had this title back then, this act should have been the North American title match, not the main title match.
No, but he was like really, really good in this role. Like, this was a point in time when he came in and he won it as a babyface cause I think he beat Big E for it.
Yeah.
And then he turned heel. It was kind of a trend in NXT at this point in time where a babyface would win the title, and then gradually fans would get sick of it, and then they turn him heel. They'd organically turn him heel because of it. Like, he wins it as like this clean cut babyface, and the crowd are really behind him. And then in the course of a couple of months, the crowd hate him and they think he's too generic and cookie cutter. And so they basically
did the same to Neville.
Yeah, and so they basically just like made that his character. It's like, it's a guy who is the ultimate goody two shoes, but that's because the fans hate him. It's like a lesser version of what Kurt Angle's character was.
How old is Bo Dallas?
I think is he young? I think he's younger than Bray Wyatt, isn't he? And Bray Wyatt isn't even that old.
Oh, fuck, he's
29.
only 29 now. Wow.
So at this point, he's like 23.
Get the fuck out.
It's like
I just kind of
23,
assumed that he was
24.
like 35
I
or
thought he was
something.
like
at this point.
34. Wow, he's got time. He should go somewhere else.
Yeah, Bo needs to go.
He needs to believe in himself.
Imagine Bo Dallas leaves, he gets his self and gets himself. Why am I botching this? Gets himself in shape. Has a little run in like an MLW or something like that. Comes back to WWE and he's somebody we can actually take seriously. Kind of like look at like Neville. I mean, Neville here, he's Adrian Neville. He's not anything like Pac outside of like the in-ring stuff, but like,
yeah,
there's a big difference between Adrian Neville here, Adrian Neville on the main roster, Neville on the main roster as the cruiserweight champion, and Pac. Like,
yeah, like him being the cruiserweight champion was the thing that really like saw his personality come to the forefront, and now he's turned it up to 11 because he can be Pac on AEW Dynamite.
I was a fan of that design.
This belt?
It was different. Yeah, it was different.
I never liked it. I don't like that.
It looks a bit cheap.
X.
Yeah, it looks a little cheap. I think I'm wondering. I assume this was like NXT's first ladder match.
Yeah.
Because now we seem to get ladder matches pretty much like every 2 weeks. It just interesting to see a time when it was still kind of a big deal.
I always love this little doom 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 doom.
They released that recently.
Yeah, I grabbed that immediately.
Oh.
No,
huh. I don't remember HBK doing anything.
Yeah, he just introduces. Come on, he's Mr. Ladder Match. He still has hair.
Yeah. This before he's working for the company again. Well, at least in a trainer capacity.
This is probably when he like wanted to at least start looking at it.
I mean, he was doing like things like his hunting show and things like that, wasn't he, at this point?
I always liked the way that guys like Michaels and Flair carried championships.
You get Shawn Michaels dancing in the ring and doing that pose. I'm just imagining that there's like with that firework thing.
Yeah.
It's so weird though to think that like even in 6 years ago, it's like, oh, let's get Shawn Michaels out. He's a legend and a veteran who's retired and can put over these things the way that it used to be like when I'm watching and they're like the old timer Sergeant Slaughter. I'm like, no, Shawn Michaels can't be the old timer. Kind of like this. I mean, now we're at a point where it's like that old timer John Cena, and I'm like, Jesus God.
Mm.
I was gonna say he sounds blown up.
Oh God, one more match chance. Yeah. If you knew what that one more match ended up being, you wouldn't be chanting that right now. Just how much money will it take, Sean? How much money will it take?
What a wonderful world.
He's not wrong.
I mean, just for the right amount of blood money, he might just change it.
HB Shizzle, is that what they're saying?
HB Shizzle is what they're saying.
Get on it, Tony.
Yeah.
T-Public and Red Bull will Smark out a moment. Pick up the merchandise. Do the same thing for Fanboys Anonymous and A-Man goatees. They just start super kicking people because he's like, well, maybe that's what I was supposed to do.
Where's Dan?
Yeah, he's at NXT at this point, right?
Yeah, Ty Dillinger would be there. Yeah. Probably teaming with Jason Jordan. Hey, but there's a Mr. WrestleMania DVD, but that's not AJ Styles on the cover. Sean, if you need money, I know some guys in Saudi Arabia that would be quite happy to. I shouldn't bang on about it, but then again, he did just like steal money on the blood of workers, so I kind of like, I kind of like don't want to let it lie that easily.
It's weird that both he and Triple H are into this whole handmade wristband type thing.
Yeah, it is kind of.
I forgot this was his theme.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first version of it.
This is very much like
I feel like this fit him though.
Like a commercial for something. Like this should be like, try new Mountain Dew or something.
I think it fit him quite well because he's kind of like in NXT at the very least, he was kind of billed as a guy who was pretty much like genetically engineered almost.
Yeah.
It's like a guy who can do stuff that just human beings just shouldn't be able to do.
He is a weird specimen.
Yeah, he's an absolute freak of nature.
Muscular as all hell, and
like so acrobatic. I mean, it's kind of like I kind of like look at him, and then obviously, like more people that watch New Japan and stuff like that would look at someone like Will Ospreay. And Ospreay can kind of do pretty much all the stuff that Neville can do, but he doesn't look like Neville does. Oh, this is before the big special like Bo Dallas entrance, like the Bo leave.
That
does more. Yeah.
Thing, yeah.
He's kind of like at the moment in kind of like a blend of his.
Champion.
Oh yeah, he had eliminated Wade Barrett from that Rumble.
That was the year before.
Oh, was it the year before? Oh yeah, because I kind of thought like he was going to get pushed to the main roster quickly and actually get an Intercontinental Championship opportunity at the very least, but he didn't actually end up doing anything. He eliminated Barrett from that Rumble, and then he beat him on the next night on Raw, and then he did absolutely nothing.
He looks so much taller too.
Oh yeah, and he's in a much better shape than he is now.
Now, if you had to tell me that in 6 years, the ring announcer would be the employer of Adrian Neville
in a completely different company,
in a promotion on the TNT network,
with Cody, after Dusty, who's in the audience, has passed away.
We'll just bring it down.
And this is the WWE Network, and we might get rid of the WWE Network. And they're all called TakeOver.
Yeah, nobody's arriving anymore.
And they're headlined by two guys that used to be in the Cruiserweight Classic. Oh, by the way, they've got a Cruiserweight title. And by the way, the Cruiserweight show has gone downhill multiple years already at this point.
Yeah, what a weird time where, like, at the time, all it was Raw and SmackDown. And maybe Main Event if you're really craving content.
Superstars.
I think Superstars are still going, at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Bo really was quick to try and get out of there. But stepped through the ropes.
Even something as simple as this. Imagine talking to yourself 6 years ago at this point, looking at this and going, wow, Neville would have made a whole lot of a bigger deal in NXT UK. And you go, wait, what? NXT UK?
Yeah,
that.
Tyler Bate at this point is like 11.
He's still
He's
in
not
the
far off.
womb.
Yeah. Well, that was rough. Oh god, at this point, Bo Dallas is the longest reigning NXT champion of all time.
Well, he only had to beat 2 other people.
Yeah, Rollins
Yeah,
and Big E,
Rollins
right?
Rollins and Big E. Yeah, so only the third champion.
Rollins had beaten Jinder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the final of that tournament.
Former WWE champion in the role.
Yeah, God, look at that difference too.
But that's two WWE champions fighting over the first NXT championship. I don't know how many NXT champions there've been now. Probably obviously closer to 20, I'd imagine. Just to see like Bo Dallas was the first, and kind of for a while the only real completely unsuccessful one on the main roster. Because at least when Neville got there, he eventually won the Cruiserweight Championship. They had him nearly beat Seth Rollins for the WWE title at one point. They had Zayn. Zayn was a pretty big star for a while. Owens has obviously been a pretty big deal. Bo Dallas for a while was just this big outlier of
There's been 16.
Only 16, God. It feels quite interesting because it starts in the NXT Championship starts in 2012, 2013?
2012.
Yeah. So in 8 years they've only had 16 champions.
And some of them are
only a few of them are multiple time ones.
Yeah.
It's only Samoa Joe and Nakamura that are multiple time ones, I think.
Yep.
So
but yeah, you go through the list and Owens, Universal Champion. Balor, Universal Champion, technically, even though it was only one day. Joe has never been given, I think, the spot that he should. Nakamura won the Royal Rumble and arguably should have won that match at WrestleMania. And Intercontinental Champion twice. United States Champion, I think.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Rude didn't succeed
he
as
won
much.
That twice as well.
He won a US title and he's multiple time tag champion.
McIntyre now heading into WrestleMania, potentially going to beat Brock Lesnar to win his first world title. Almas, huge upside. Current United States champion. Aleister Black, he's doing pretty good so far. He'll end up getting there. Ciampa, of course, didn't go up. Gargano didn't go up, and Cole didn't go up.
Yeah,
but Ciampa, Cole, and Gargano,
they're big deals in NXT still.
They're holding down the fort.
Yeah, so I think it's fine being still top guys in NXT rather than moving.
Yeah.
I don't think having to move up to the main roster is an indicator of being a success or a failure. Dallas is kind of the big outlier of all of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's no question he's the one that hasn't succeeded the most.
Yeah,
because Neville was at least Money in the Bank matches. He's been in the ring with Rollins and stuff.
Yeah, they all did something at the very least. I mean, Dallas, the best he's done is the one Raw tag team title reign, I think. And even then, their entire gimmick heading into that was that they're losers.
Yeah, it's true.
And they only won because the crowd enjoyed the fact that they were losers. But it just feels very interesting because Bray Wyatt is a very polarizing character as well. Just quite interesting. These guys would just seem to have such huge upside as these two brothers. Realistically, they should have at one point at the very least teamed up together.
Yeah, out of all this time, everybody always going, well, at some point, Bo Dallas is going to be part of the Wyatt family, and it didn't work.
Oh my god, I forgot that he uses the double arm DDT at this point. Because the most original move at this point in time.
Wait, he didn't do the Bodog?
No, I think he does do the Bodog, but he was also using the double arm DDT as a finisher as well.
Look at
Ambrose. That wasn't Ambrose's finisher yet, even.
No, it wasn't at this.
Look at the ramp. I just noticed this right now.
Yes, that doesn't look like it has any give at all.
Well, it's weird because that also looks like it would be better than that steel thing that fucked up Tegan Knox.
But yeah, potentially. It kind of looks like it doesn't have the same level of give though.
Talk about someone that doesn't have a lot of give. Just chuck a ladder at the guy.
Yeah. I haven't really like been fully listening to the commentary, but I kind of like the combination. You could see like that these guys are pretty good, and I kind of miss Regal on commentary because he's really holding it together.
It's so weird that everybody always ends up chanting
tables,
"We want tables." Every time that there's like a no DQ match, people chant "We want tables," and it's like tables are fun and all, but it's so strange that gets that big of like a difference. Yeah, you know what? We did over the course of these years that this went by, we've done 2 different things that have been talking about like best foreign objects and stuff, and tables don't win eventually, but everybody goes crazy for it.
It just seems to be the thing that like the done thing at this point in time. Well, almost any time. I guess they just like everyone just loves the Impact so much they just want that to happen.
You know who doesn't like the Impact a whole lot? Tegan Knox when Raquel Gonzalez doesn't throw her through it.
I thought you were saying like who doesn't like the Impact, like basically anyone that watched TNA in the early 2010s.
Well, who at this point is in TNA in 2014 February?
The entire Raw roster.
There's quite a lot of people there. I mean, Bobby Roode's still in TNA at this point. Eric Young. I'm trying to think of any. Samoa Joe's probably still with TNA at this point.
Yep.
AJ being
AJ had just gotten
probably New Japan at this point. Yeah.
Angle's still working in TNA.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's I'm going to look at the Lockdown 2014 card. The Great Muta, Sonata.
Oh yeah, Sonata
and Yasu. Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, Chris Sabin, Samuel Shaw. So there you go. Dexter Lumis, who wrestled 1 match in NXT. Mr. Anderson, Manic. That was TJP. He comes into WWE and leaves WWE in that course. Tigre Uno, Gunner.
Who's Jackson Riker.
Mm-hmm.
James Storm. Madison Rain.
NXT for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, Madison Rain came in for Mae Young Classic.
Oh, right.
Gail Kim didn't come back. Lady Tappa. Forgot about her.
She. I don't know who she's wrestling for now, but she wrestled for. I think she came back to TNA for a little while after that.
It's Mojo. Magnus, who is now the NWA champion.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Team MVP, who is MVP, who's now back in WWE, and he wrestled his retirement match, and then 2 weeks later wrestled another match.
He teamed with it was Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, and I think Jeff Hardy is the other one.
Yeah, Willow.
Yeah, Willow. Should I say?
Willow. Jesse Goddard, who didn't go into WWE. Bobby Roode, Robbie E, who is now Robert Stone, the Robert Stone brand. There's Austin Aries, who would come in and then leave. Dixie Carter, who would get rid of her association with TNA. DJ Z, who is Joaquin Wilde. And Rockstar Spud.
Oh.
Dramatic.
That was bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think I'm a little ahead because my thing stuck for a little bit, so I had to push forward. So I might pause for a second. But that did not look pretty.
No.
I mean, Neville already has enough facial issues at the best of times, having.
Well, even though it's well past the point that if you're out of sync, you wouldn't be. I'm at 146.
Yeah, we need to guys. We need to restart. It's did Neville actually ever do any good in the Sexy Superstar tour?
Neville? I don't even think he might have gotten into the qualifying, if I remember correctly. Then again, who knows? You can't really check the monetization anymore. So.
Well, yeah, it's a shame because the body is completely perfect. It's almost flawless, but it's just the rat face.
I'm pretty sure that Bo Dallas never got in.
Does it? He wrestles with a gum shield now, does it?
Yeah.
And it's hard to really tell now. Oh,
That looked a little dangerous at first.
yeah. I mean, this is kind of. I don't know whether it's just my expectations of knowing what Neville can do. This is kind of pretty standard for a ladder match.
The shadow of that ladder over Bo makes it look like he pooped his pants.
Getting very animated, William Regal.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of want him to do more commentary stuff, but he's so good as the general manager. And then I also want to see him wrestle again, but that's not going to happen. So
he's significantly better than Nigel. Nigel's not bad, but Regal is very good.
I like Nigel. So it's got just like half, 2/3 of the Raw commentary team. They just exchanged like William Regal for Jerry Lawler, which would definitely be an improvement if they put William Regal on instead. That was a nice sell.
I'm not in a 2014 mindset, so I can't tell if this is significantly better. Significantly better than what Raw and SmackDown were presenting. But it's definitely like the work rate now is on such another level.
Yeah, I mean, this overall is an underwhelming event compared to the takeovers that we get. Like, there's no comparison.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you compare this with like the most recent takeover, it's like, I don't want to say it's night and day, but it's just, there's just a higher overall consistency and standard across the entire card.
One is clearly the blueprint, and the other one is clearly the finished product.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with the blueprint. It's nice to go back and just look at like the origins of it. I mean, there's a few things wrong with that, but
isn't he a mayor or something right now?
Does anybody really care?
The people in that county or something.
Oh shit! It's not.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to German suplex him off. just a hunch. I mean, if he does it, I might just have to change my entire opinion of this entire match. But buckle bomb. Could see that coming. Good job he wasn't wrestling Sting.
Sting. Before this is out, let me get another plug out of the way and just thank Guest 5 again for donating to the Patreon and suggesting that we do this, because even though we're talking about the idea that the other current takeovers, you almost hit the referee, current takeovers are better, it's still fun to go back and check this out. And if you guys want us to watch more of older stuff like that, then donate to the Patreon. The Pick Your Poison tier is when you can make sure that you request that specifically. But if you don't have the spare change for that, and if you want to take advantage of getting some extra stuff on the side, there's the Darkcast tier. There's the mailbag priority. Because, for instance, we are not doing one in February. We usually do the monthly mailbag. Well, we're not doing that anymore. We're doing quarterly. So there is no mailbag this month unless you donate to that tier. And if you do, then any questions you submit, we will answer. We know within reason. We're not going to tell you like our Facebook password or something like that, But
you always say that, and I'm always like, wow, we really live in a time where he has to explain that, doesn't he?
Yeah, because then people will be somebody might be like, oh, I asked the question, you said all the questions. Yes, somebody.
I mean, it does depend how much they donate.
Yeah,
that's true.
I was surprised they actually pulled it down there. how quickly Dallas got into the ring.
it's still, no matter what, anybody winning a championship doesn't feel as big anymore when it's not the Fink. Because it sounds so much better when you just get, and no! And it's just Brandy Rhodes doing it. It's just not the same.
Yeah. But this is it's a good start. It's a good starting point. This is a good launching pad for the entire brand.
They were really into the smoke.
Yeah, they were.
Some of the Street Profits. That's why the Street Profits were so successful. But this launches Neville's title reign, which I would argue is like one of the strongest NXT Championship reigns in terms of like in-ring matches. But
he lost it at what, Fatal 4?
No, he lost it at ArRIVAL. Yeah, to Sami Zayn. In a match that was far better than that, but I kind of felt that was kind of like an old school, just a ladder match, nothing too crazy or over the top.
But I kind of enjoyed that though.
Yeah, I kind of like ladder matches that don't feel like they're too choreographed and too like, okay, we're not actually going to try and climb the ladder. We're just trying to do spots until we get to the finish of the match.
Yeah, like this felt like two guys trying to win.
Yeah.
Would not be the best ladder match that they had in NXT, though. That's for sure. I still think that the North American title match is the top of that.
That's one of the best matches in NXT history. I don't think it's hard to kind of compare those two, but I'd say this was probably better than that Adam Cole, Dijakovic ladder match they had recently.
We also live in an era where he would lose that Adrian pretty quick.
Oh yeah, and he'd come out to the ring wearing a purple cape.
Gross.
Oh,
John Cena.
I don't see anybody.
Is that SoCal Val in the background? To the left of Cena.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's SoCal Val.
What the?
That's weird.
Who's the girl? Oh, that's their sister. That's Bo and Rick.
Oh yeah.
Wait, that's Bailey behind her.
I didn't notice Bailey.
I wonder if there was any like.
Wait, look. Bailey.
I can't see it.
I'm
the
not
camera
seeing
not
Bailey.
Panning over. Yeah, the camera's not panning over enough.
Huh. Well, there you go. That kind of answered the whole idea of I wonder who's in the crowd.
Yeah.
SoCal Val
John Cena.
And, John Cena.
I wonder if John Cena was there the entire time or he just came out for that part of it.
Yeah.
They probably just sent him out there for that part.
Filminflorida.com.
Well, that's...
Yeah. That was
how was the arrival?
Yeah.
The arrival of NXT, arrival, our rival, all that other kind of stuff.
Arrival.
NXT TakeOver, arrival. NXT TakeOver, WWE Network. Whatever they would call it.
It was a good launching point. I mean, undoubtedly the best match is the opener by
that
leaps and bounds. But there was a couple of, I think both the Paige and Emma matches and the ladder match at the end were good. And then there were just 3 matches in the middle of it that were
2 matches and a beatdown segment.
Oh yeah, it's not even really a match in the other one, but 2 matches that were definitely not what you would consider takeover quality nowadays. Imagine putting one of those matches on a takeover now. People would lose their minds of how bad it would be.
Yeah, if you did this exact same takeover and you put that in 2020, people would be like, this is the worst show.
Yeah, I know. They just think, okay, this I guess the streak of great takeovers is over. But at the time, like, they didn't have that reputation, so...
Yeah. Well, because they didn't build up that reputation at that point. They got better people, they put on better shows, and then, you give me this group of people, and you try to make a card out of it, yeah, of course you're not going to get as good, because, I mean, what are you going to do with Mojo Rawley compared to somebody like Velveteen Dream,
But I still enjoyed it, though.
Yeah,
it was still a nice walk back through history.
And since we can't really do this with a lot of other pay-per-views, because, I mean, let's put it this way. If you donated enough, of course, but for the Pick Your Poison tier, we can't set aside the time to do a Fannounce Table of like WrestleMania 35 because it's like 9 hours long. So that
Like,
can't be
if
the
you
case.
want to watch us, listen to us watch like it in your house, you can get away with that. I think those are like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
But
like,
any of the modern shows, you can't do it.
yeah, different type of story and stuff. Unless you're one of those, you hit the Hall of Fan tier or something like that, then that's a different thing. But yeah, awesome. For guest 5 to donate to this. I mentioned before, if you want to take part in any of those kind of things, head up to Patreon, patreon.com/smarkoutmoment. Talked about the TeePublic, talked about the Redbubble, talked about fanboysanonymous.com, the Geek Culture Spot. If you do want to check out that World's Finest fan tracks that we did, that's up. So check that out. I think I did all my other kinds of plugs. Wrestling news, Bleacher Report, blah, 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 blah. But these guys have plugs as well. Rob?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DudeValice. You can check out what I'm doing on WrestleZone.com with the WrestleZone Daily, and check out what I'm doing over at Fightful.com. Callum?
You can follow me on Twitter at Wikimeister14 and check out all the weekly articles on smarkoutmoment.com, including my contribution to Power Rankings.
And kind of just keep paying attention to what else is happening, everybody. If you go to smarkoutmoment.com, there's plenty of other things that are going on throughout the week that aren't just on the podcast side of things. But we do still have one more thing on the podcast stuff for this week. We're going to hopefully try to do the Hall of Lame at some point. And I don't know exactly when that's going to come up. Maybe Thursday, maybe Friday, but stay tuned. And of course, if you are following us on Facebook and Twitter at SmarkOutMoment, or you are following us through the little notification bell on YouTube or just smarkoutmoment.com, then when those things get posted, then you'll be aware of that. And there's plenty of other things as well. There's the Call the Spot for Elimination Chamber, which I've already written up, but I'm going to hold off on that just in case they end up changing anything on like SmackDown or so. So I'll post that at some point later this week. And yeah, Super Showdown's coming up. AEW Revolution's coming up. Elimination Chamber's coming up after that. Too much. But we'll be around. Hopefully you'll stick around as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Thanks for listening to this, everybody, and we will see you next time. But for now, this has been another Smark Out Moment. We're being counted out.